Imagine walking across a quiet plain 160 million years ago. The air smells of ash, the ground looks solid, but it is lying to you. One wrong step, and the earth swallows you whole. Welcome back. Today we are traveling deep into the late Jurassic period, to a remote corner of northwestern China's Xinjiang region. Here, buried beneath layers of ancient rock, scientists uncovered something that looked less like a normal fossil site and more like a crime scene. Not one pit, not two, but three separate pits, each one packed, layer upon layer, with the skeletons of small doomed dinosaurs. Some were stacked directly on top of each other, as if they had died in the exact same trap at different moments in time. Paleontologists gave this place a chilling nickname, the Dinosaur Death Pits. For years, no one could agree on what killed these animals. Was it a flood, a landslide, something even stranger? Stick with us, because the answer involves a giant, a volcano, and a trap far more terrifying than any hunter could ever build. Let's set the scene properly. The site sits within a layer of rock called the Shishugou Formation. Inside it, researchers found three separate pits, each between 1 and 2 meters deep, roughly the depth of a small swimming pool. And packed inside those pits were the remains of at least 18 small meat-eating dinosaurs, along with crocodiles, mammals, turtles, and even an early relative of the mighty Tyrannosaurus, a creature called Guanlong. Here is where it gets strange. The skeletons were not scattered randomly, the way a flood or a scavenger attack would leave them. Instead, many were found articulated, meaning their bones were still connected in the positions they held in life, and they were stacked vertically, one body sinking on top of another, over and over, across what must have been a long stretch of time. This told scientists something important. These were not creatures that died elsewhere and were washed into the pits later. These animals died right where they were found, trapped in the exact same spot, again and again. So what was this place? At first, some researchers guessed the pits were simple depressions in the landscape, low points where water and sediment collected over the years. But that theory had a problem. There was no evidence the pits filled in gradually. They looked more like they were carved out suddenly and then swallowed their victims almost immediately after. That is when researchers turned to an unexpected suspect: giants. The rock inside the pits was a soft, deformed mixture of volcanic ash and river mud, and scientists proposed that the pits themselves may have started as footprints made by an enormous, long-necked, plant-eating dinosaur, possibly a sauropod weighing as much as 20 tons, as it lumbered across ground that had been soaked and softened by rain. Picture it. A creature the size of a school bus presses one massive foot into wet, ash-laden mud. The ground beneath its foot liquefies from the sheer pressure, turning into something closer to quicksand than solid earth. The giant lifts its foot and moves on, leaving behind a deep, saturated pit, a trap disguised as ordinary ground. Smaller animals wandering the same plain would have had no idea what was waiting for them. A theropod chasing prey, a crocodile relative on the move, a small mammal foraging for food. One misstep, and their legs would sink into the softened mud. The more they struggled, the deeper they sank, until the ground closed over them completely. And this did not happen just once. Evidence suggests it happened repeatedly, in the same low-lying spots, whenever the rains returned and the volcanic ash turned to mud again. Different animals, trapped in the same location at different points across time, layer stacking upon layer, entombing one victim after another. Adding to the eerie picture, researchers also found signs of volcanic ash woven through the sediment. Volcanic activity was common across this region during the Mesozoic era, and some scientists believe eruptions may have helped create the very conditions that turned solid ground into a deadly trap in the first place. So the dinosaur death pits were not the work of a hunter, a flood, or a single catastrophic disaster. They were something far quieter and in some ways far more unsettling. A landscape itself, reshaped again and again by the footsteps of giants, silently waiting for the next unlucky traveler to wander through. What makes the dinosaur death pits of China so remarkable is not just what they preserved, but how they preserved it. Most fossil sites capture a single moment, one flood, one storm, one bad day, frozen forever in stone. But these pits captured something rarer, a recurring event, playing out again and again across the same patch of ancient ground, each layer a fresh tragedy stacked on top of the last. It is a strange thought, isn't it, that danger in the world of the dinosaurs did not always come from teeth and claws. Sometimes it came from something as simple as a giant's footprint and a little too much rain. Next time you look at a photograph of an animal footprint, whether ancient or modern, remember the Shishugou pits. Even the ground itself has a history, and sometimes that history bites back. If you enjoyed uncovering this ancient mystery with us, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more stories from the world of ancient humans and the creatures that shared their planet. See you in the next one.